When people ask me about Bruce Lee, I always pause. Because how do you explain someone who wasn't just a man, but a movement? For me, Bruce wasn't only a fighter. He was a fire fierce, unstoppable, unforgettable. Once you stood near that fire, it burned into your soul forever. Before Bruce, the world did not believe someone like us, an Asian man, could be a star. We were background actors, side characters, nameless faces. But Bruce refused to be a shadow. He became the light the first time I saw him move. It wasn't just martial arts, it was poetry. His body was sharp like a blade, but his spirit was as deep as the ocean. He could throw a punch that would shake your bones, and then say a word that would shake your heart. Without Bruce, there would be no Jackie Chan. Without Bruce, so many of us would never have dared to dream this big. That is who he was to me. A guide, a symbol, a legend. I remember standing near Bruce on set. The cameras weren't even rolling. He was just warming up. But the way he moved, it made everyone stop and stare. He had this rhythm, this control. His kicks didn't just hit the air, they commanded the air. You could feel the discipline in every strike. Years of sweat, pain, repetition, and focus. When Bruce threw a punch, it was not about violence. It was about perfection. He didn't fight to destroy. He fought to express. And when he looked at you, those sharp eyes told you something. That strength is not just physical. Strength is mental. Strength is spiritual. I realized then Bruce was not only training his body, he was shaping his soul, and that's why he became unstoppable. Bruce once said, "Be like water." At first, many people thought it was just a clever line, but for those of us who understood, it was life-changing. Water, it has no shape, yet it takes every shape. You put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. You pour it into a river, it becomes the river. You try to block it, it flows around. That's how Bruce lived, flexible, uncheckable, unstoppable. When Hollywood tried to limit him, he flowed past the limits. When people underestimated him, he used it as fuel. He taught us that in life you don't have to be the hardest. You don't have to be the loudest. You just have to keep flowing. And in the end, water always wins. It wears down the strongest rock, it carves valleys, it creates life. That was Bruce's message. And even today, when I face challenges, I remind myself, be like water. Bruce's journey was not easy. Hollywood didn't want him. They told him he was too small, too foreign, too different. They didn't believe an Asian face could lead a movie. But Bruce didn't beg for acceptance. He demanded respect. He worked harder. He trained longer. He spoke louder through his actions. He refused to play only weak or silly characters. He wanted dignity. He wanted truth. When they said no, he went back to Hong Kong and became a superstar there. And when the world saw his movies, when they saw Enter the Dragon, there was no turning back. Bruce proved them wrong. And in proving them wrong, he opened the door for me, for Jet Li, for Donnie Yen, for every Asian actor who came after. Bruce didn't just fight on screen. He fought for us off screen, and he won. If you ever saw Bruce's training, you would never forget it. He treated his body like a weapon, like a temple, like an art form. Push-ups on one finger, punches so fast you could barely see them. But the real strength was not his muscles. It was his mind. Bruce believed discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. He didn't just train for hours, he trained with intention. Every kick, every punch, every breath had meaning. And his strength wasn't about beating others. It was about mastering himself. He said, "The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus." That was Bruce, not a superhuman, just a man who refused to quit. I was lucky. I got to work near Bruce. I remember one time on set, I was just a stuntman, just a background face. And Bruce hit me by accident during a scene. His punch was so fast, so powerful, I almost couldn't breathe. But then he turned and he smiled. He helped me up. He apologized. He treated me with kindness. That's what I never forgot. Behind the legend, there was a human being, humble, gentle, respectful. That moment taught me something. You can be the strongest in the room, but if you are not kind, you are not truly strong. Bruce lived that truth. Bruce's life was short, too short. The world lost him at just 32 years old. But in those 32 years, he accomplished more than most do in a lifetime. Some people measure life in years, but Bruce measured it in impact. And his impact was massive. He inspired millions. He changed cinema. He made us believe in ourselves. Even though he is gone, his presence never left. His movies, his words, his philosophy, they are alive. And in many ways, Bruce Lee never died. His body left, but his spirit became eternal. Today, when you see martial arts in movies, when you see action stars across the globe, you are seeing Bruce's fingerprints. He made martial arts universal. Before Bruce, it was hidden. After Bruce, it was everywhere. He didn't just influence Asia. He influenced America, Europe, Africa, the whole world. He showed people that martial arts is not just about fighting. It's about discipline, culture, respect, and art. Even MMA, modern mixed martial arts, owes so much to Bruce Lee. He was one of the first to combine styles, to say that no single style is supreme. He was ahead of his time. I often ask myself, what did Bruce teach me? And the answer is simple: everything. He taught me that no dream is too big. He taught me that pain is part of growth. He taught me that success is not about proving others wrong, but proving yourself right. Whenever I doubted myself, I remembered Bruce. Whenever I felt weak, I remembered his strength. Whenever the world said no, I remembered how many times they told Bruce no, and how he turned it into yes. Bruce gave me courage. Without him, I might never have become Jackie Chan. Without him, maybe the world would never have known me at all. So when I think of Bruce today, I don't feel sadness. I feel gratitude. Gratitude that I was alive to witness his fire. Gratitude that he touched my life. Gratitude that his spirit continues to touch millions around the world. Bruce Lee was more than a man. He was a movement, a symbol of strength, courage, and freedom. He lived short, but he lived strong. And as long as people dream, as long as people fight for their place in the world, as long as people seek to master themselves, Bruce Lee will live on. For me, Bruce Lee is not gone. He is here, in my heart, in my work, in every punch I throw, in every dream I chase. Bruce Lee will never die.